All right, you've got to hear this. Two Indian startups just announced something that sounds like it was pulled directly from a sci-fi movie. They're planning to build a whole network of AI data centers that live permanently in space. And listen, this isn't just some wild pie-in-the-sky idea. No, it's a really smart move that could completely change how we think about artificial intelligence and, well, the entire internet.
But that begs the big question, right? I mean, with all the insane challenges of just getting to space, why on earth would you want to launch the most powerful, most sensitive part of our digital world into orbit?
Well, believe it or not, the answer has everything to do with a huge crisis that's building up right here on the ground. This whole futuristic leap into space, it's actually a direct answer to some very real, very down-to-earth problems. And these are the two companies making it all happen. You've got Aggie-Cool Cosmos, a super innovative space tech company out of Chennai, and partnering with them is Neve Cloud, an AI cloud firm from Bangalore. It's a perfect match, really. They're mixing rocket science with cloud computing to build something nobody's ever built before. So what is this huge problem on Earth that's forcing brilliant people to look up at the stars for a solution? To really get what they're doing, we first need to understand why the way we're currently powering AI just isn't going to work for much longer. Look, there's no way to sugarcoat this. AI is an absolute energy glutton. To train just one big AI model can use up as much electricity as hundreds of homes do in an entire year. And as AI gets woven into everything we do, that energy demand is just going to skyrocket.
And that creates what's basically a nightmare scenario for the future of AI. Data centers here on Earth are already hitting some hard walls. Our power grids can't always handle them, we're running out of land to build them on, and, get this, they need billions of gallons of water every year just to stay cool. On top of all that, you have the growing risk of having your country's most important data sitting in a physical location that could become a geopolitical hotspot. And this really puts the human cost of our current system into perspective. Over 80%. That's how much of the world's population lives more than 200 milliseconds away from a major AI data center. Now, 200 milliseconds might sound fast, but in the world of AI, it's an eternity. That delay, that latency, makes things like remote robotic surgery or truly self-driving cars totally impossible for most of the planet. Okay, so the problem is pretty clear, but how in the world do you solve it by going to space? Well, the secret sauce is this totally brilliant piece of engineering that basically gives a rocket a second life. This right here is the game changer. It's Agni-Cool Cosmos' patented extendable upper stage for their Agni-Bond rocket. So think about this. It's not just the part of the rocket that carries a satellite up and then lets it go. No, it's designed to become the satellite platform itself. And this just lays it out so perfectly. Look at the left. That's the old way. The top of the rocket does its job, releases a satellite, and then just becomes another piece of dangerous space junk. But on the right, with this new approach, that exact same piece of hardware turns into a priceless asset. It becomes a permanent, solar-powered, and naturally cooled home for Neve Cloud's AI chips. It's not just more efficient, it's way more sustainable. As Agni-Cool's CEO, Srinath Ravichandran, says, this is just the natural evolution for a space company. It's not just about being a taxi to orbit anymore, it's about building lasting, functional infrastructure in orbit. Now, Agni-Cool and Neve Cloud are not the only ones with their eyes on the prize. This whole Indian venture is a major move in a new and pretty intense global competition. The race for orbital computing is officially on. And this gives you a great snapshot of who's in the running. Of course, you've got giants like SpaceX who are trying to control everything from the rockets to the AI models. You have Google's Project Suncatcher and even a company backed by NVIDIA. But what the Indian team is doing really stands out. By smartly repurposing rocket parts and focusing on sovereign data control, they've carved out a really unique position that's all about efficiency and security. So, we've gone through the problem, the incredible technology, and the competition. But let's zoom out. What does this all really mean for us? Why does building an AI data center in space actually matter? This quote from Neve Cloud CEO Narendra Sen just nails the sheer ambition here. He talks about orbital inferencing, which is a fancy way of saying the AI can make its decisions and predictions in space right where the data is being used. This isn't just about moving some computer servers. It's about creating a brand new layer of intelligence for the entire planet that operates above all of Earth's limits. And this table just breaks down the advantages so clearly. On Earth, land is expensive.
In orbit, it's free. Cooling on Earth guzzles water and energy. In space, the vacuum of space does it for you, passively. Power doesn't come from an overloaded grid. It comes from the sun, 24/7. And that latency gap we talked about, the goal is to shrink it from over 200 milliseconds down to less than 5. It's a total game changer on every single level.
And they are not wasting any time. The first proof of concept mission is slated for the end of 2026. Then, commercial operations are set to kick off just a few months after that. From there, the plan is to scale, and scale fast, to a whole network of over 600 of these orbital data centers in just 3 years. When you step back, the impact of this is just huge. We're talking about a sovereign AI capability, meaning critical defense and financial data gets processed securely under Indian control. It's about finally democratizing AI, bringing its real-time power to literally every village and border post. It's about sustainability, turning space junk into a useful asset. And ultimately, it positions India not just as a player in the new orbital economy, but as one of its chief architects.
Which kind of leaves us with this one final massive thought. For all of human history, intelligence has been an earthbound thing. But now, as we're doing things like this, we really have to ask ourselves, is the future of intelligence, our collective digital brain, not actually meant for Earth, but destined to orbit high above it?